or something that they consider boring. Walking around the neighborhood is not really doing it for you, but you just want to get out and move your body in a place that you enjoy, in a place that's pretty. Well, good news. The American Hiking Society has your back. And today is the day that you get to have an excuse for taking the kids out and doing the thing that you've been wanting to do. Today's the day that you get to walk them out and say, hey, today is National Take a Hike Day, and we're going to go celebrate the holiday by taking a hike. Oh my goodness. Now, if you haven't thought about it before, then maybe this isn't something that's really kind of floated your boat. But I know you're a parent that likes to get your kids out doing stuff in nature. You like nature, you like being out there, but you need a reason sometimes to go. And so the American Hiking Society has done the job for you, and they have established this holiday. They have given you an excuse to go out and to see some of the beauty of our countryside. Did you know there are over 60,000 hiking trails in the country? 60,000 hiking trails across the country. Wow, that blew my mind when I read that. I've seen hundreds of them, but thousands of them and tens of thousands of them is pretty amazing to think about. So today we're going to talk about the history of the day. We're going to talk a little bit about what is it, what is a hike, what is a not hike. We're going to talk about great hikes that you can go and check out, and then we're going to look at some of our favorites. So, you ready? Let's check it. Let's check it out. First, I'm going to wipe the camera off. So, pause your eyes. It's very glossy, very fancy. Anyway, so check out the scenery behind me. Sorry to make you a little woozy here, but this is Padre Island Seashore, and we are hanging out Padre Island Seashore. Been here for the last few days, and today we are enjoying some of the beach. We're about to head back into Corpus Christi, and then in a few days we're going to head down to South Padre Island, where we're going to stick around for a month down there and just enjoy some time. But Padre Island Seashore is gorgeous. The longest, maybe Amy can help me out, but the longest undeveloped stretch of beach in the world here, Padre Island Seashore. So it's pretty amazing. And we've been enjoying camping on the beach one night and then hiking down to the beach, and kids have loved getting in the water and splashing around, checking out the jellies, the Portuguese man o' war. Anybody else get a little heart flutter when I said that? But today we're not talking about beaches. Well, we kind of are, but we're talking about hikes. And so, as I mentioned in the open, I want you to think about this. Today is the day that the American Hiking Society decided they needed to celebrate this idea of what it is to take a hike. And so they established National Hiking Day. I'm going to set you down, so you're going to have to look up at my nose a little bit. But National Take a Hike Day. Don't confuse that with Tell Your Boss to Take a Hike Day, which apparently some people have tried to change it to that. Don't confuse it to tell your neighbor to take a hike day, but it is National Take a Hike Day, and it's a good thing. It's a day that you are encouraged to go outside and enjoy some of the 60,000 miles of trails, or 60,000 different trails around our country. 60,000 trails around the country that you can enjoy. And so the American Hiking Society just decided they needed a day to talk about hiking and to give it a little bit of a forefront, to give it a little bit of recognition so that people could see what the hiking was all about, and to put it on people's brains, to get them to think about what it is to look at. So, Amy says that it is the longest stretch of undeveloped beach is the Padre Island National Seashore. The longest stretch of undeveloped beach, which is pretty awesome. Hello. So the American Hiking Society decided they wanted to try to get it out about all these amazing trails that are around the country. And I know that growing up, hiking was never something we did. Hiking was never something that we did a whole lot of until we started traveling full time. And then that's when we really started to enjoy it. I would think to myself that going on vacation and enjoying different parts of the country was more about going and sitting someplace at the beach and just relaxing on the beach for a few days. The idea of going into the hills or into the mountains to walk around was not high on my list. But being honest with you, now it is one of the things that lights my fire. I love getting out and experiencing nature, getting out and walking around on some of these trails and seeing some of the stunning countryside that we are blessed to call home. Um, I've said this many times, even here in videos that I've talked to you, but I thought I knew what our country was like until we started traveling around the country full time. And then I realized I had no idea what the country was like. It was not something that I could get my mind around. I couldn't grasp all of the changes in the beauty and the elevation and the environment that we would go through just driving west 2 states, um, to see the desert, the gorgeous desert is remarkable, and to see the mountains is something. It's just breathtaking, and it has become just one of my favorite things to get out into nature and to walk around. So let me ask this question. So when we talk about hiking, what is hiking, right? What is the difference between a hike and a walk? You might ask yourself. I have a little app on my phone. It's a Samsung Health app, and you probably have one on your phone too, either the Samsung or the iPhone variety. But in the exercise portion, it asks you, are you going for a walk or are you going for a hike? And those are two different things. And I never had really thought about what the difference was. Um, we would, in our neighborhood, just say, hey, let's go out and go for a walk. And we would walk around the neighborhood, and we had some green trails that we would go on and enjoy walking around out there. But in looking at it and researching a little bit more, a couple things that I found that are different between just a hike and a walk, are that a walk is going to be pretty much constant levels for the most part. Not necessarily, but it's going to be just a consistent elevation without the ups and downs. Hiking has some of the ups and downs, and that's part of the tracking that your device will do if you're on a hike versus a walk, is that it will begin to track your elevation changes. So when you go on a hike, your phone senses your how high you are, your elevation, and it logs the elevation change that you go on. And now, while it's not always necessarily true that hiking will entail changes of elevation, there are some beautiful hikes that we've been on with no change in elevation. Um, that is one of the things that kind of separates the two. A lot of folks would say that the difference between a hike and a walk is also the remoteness of where you are doing it. The idea of going on a walk is something that you do in your neighborhood or around the mall. A lot of people like to go walk around the mall, where we're from, because it's 100 degrees outside and humid and they don't want to be outside. But when you look at the idea of a hike has just inherent in the idea of a hike is that you're out in nature somewhere. There are, but I would venture to say this: the difference between a hike and a walk is really just your attitude and what you're doing, right? The attitude that you're taking, what you're doing. And here's why I say that: because there are urban hiking trails all over the country too. There are urban hiking trails that are in cities where you can go and you can find places inside the city to go and take a hike. And maybe it's next to a bayou or a river or a creek, or maybe it's just through the buildings, and it's just a path that you would take through a downtown. We saw that in Flagstaff, that there were a lot of hiking trails that were through the city of Flagstaff. And we've seen that in other cities, whether it's Sacramento or some of the other places that we've been. So hiking really is just going to be a difference, a change of your attitude and the way that you choose to approach the adventure. So in that hike, you're going to look around and you're going to say, hey, we're going to go out and take a hike. And then it changes your attitude more than anything else. So you may not change elevation. You may not be out in the middle of nature, but the attitude of a hike is that you're going to go explore and enjoy, and you're going to see some of what nature has to offer us. So that's really, in my mind, in my uneducated and not expert purview, the difference between a hike and a walk. So when you go out, instead of telling your kids, we're going to go for a walk, tell them we're going to go for a hike, and have them bring a magnifying glass, have them bring, a little bug collection kit, have them bring something uh, to put a rock in that they find that they want to keep. Not if you're in the national park. Take only pictures and leave only footprints in the national park is kind of the phrase that we try to live by. But so instead of just telling your kids you're going to go out and go for a walk, tell them that you're going to go out for a hike and encourage them to bring some of those things. And it brings in a whole new attitude about where you're going and what you're going to do. Okay. The country that we live in is replete with incredible, amazing, gorgeous, and beautiful trails. And I'm going to encourage you that if you have not done so, I want to encourage you that there is an app called All Trails, one word, ALLTRAILS. Right there, you see the little green mountainy looking thing, right? All Trails. This app is a treasure trove of information, is a great way to find hikes all around. Wherever you are, you can search for top trails nearby. You can search for your favorite trails, and then as you go and on your hike, you can record, and it will keep track of where you've been, where you've hiked, how far you've hiked, how many hours you've been hiking, and it keeps track of all those things in a database so that you can go back and look at what you've done. You can favorite some different trails all over the place and say, oh, I want to go back to this one. Hit the favorite button, and it'll remember it for you so that you can go and find it next time. It also even goes to the detail of giving you directions to trails. So if you find something that you want to go to, but you're not really sure how to get there, just hit a button and it will give you driving directions to get there. So it's a super app to have. Um, and it even divides trails out into the difficulty level. So it'll show you Malachite Beach Walk. Look at that. There's a trail. Padre Island National Seashore is close to me. It's 4.6 miles long. It'll take you, it says it estimates an hour and 52, but then it gives you time frames of how long it thinks it'll take. And then it gives you easy, moderate, or difficult, strenuous, and it will tell you what the trail is going to be like, how difficult it will be, so that you can think about whether that's something you want to try to tackle. And so you see that it gives you those, and then it gives you some. Here, this one is listing out family-friendly trails, and then best views nearby, trails less traveled. So all kinds of amazing things that you can look at on the app, and it's a free to download. There are some advanced features that you could pay for, but it's really just a cool tool to have in your belt or in your pocket, in your phone, in your purse, so that you can pull things up and check out just different places to go and enjoy nature on your hike that you're going to do today. So go download that app, All Trails app, go download it and then check it out. And I want you to find a trail near you. So download the app and then here, comment below with a trail that you found near you that maybe you had never seen before and never considered hiking until you found it on that app. So I really am curious to hear what it is that you're going to put in there and where it is that you're going to go and what you're going to tackle. Because I just think it's a great app to use. So there also, you can go and search for some amazing trails around our country. And a couple of the ones that I didn't really even know about, I think, it never really entered my brain until a few years ago, are the Appalachian Trail is one, and then there's another one on the other side of the country, and I'm going to make you figure that one out. So the Appalachian Trail, and it goes north and south all the way vertically through the country, basically. Not completely, but basically vertically through the country. And so most folks, what they do is they start in the southern end and they hike and they chase the weather up. And so they're trying to get north before the bad weather comes. Or they start on the north side if they're leaving and running away from the winter. And they start on the north side and then hike south from the northernmost point to the southernmost point. And it is 2,000 miles long. It's a 2,000-mile trail. And so people take months to go from north to south. Yeah, Amy says, I feel like it's much easier to get exercise when you have a purpose, a place to go. friends and beautiful scenery. And totally, Amy, I totally agree with you that when you have a reason to go out there, there's a purpose for you, and there's a beautiful place to go, you're so much more likely to go do it. So the Appalachian Trail is one that a lot of people go hike down. I read a book about a guy that went and tried to tackle the Appalachian Trail with no hiking experience. Fascinating read. You should check it out. And the other one on the other end of the country is the PCT, and I'm not going to tell you what that stands for, but you go and look it up. The PCT is even longer. So the one is 2,000 miles, and the western version of that is 3,000 miles long. And so it's a spectacular, some spectacular views, and there are a lot of folks that actually work very hard to keep the trails up to date so that people can hike on those trails and not get lost, not come into danger, and it's really pretty spectacular. So those are two of the ones that come to mind as some of the best that our country has to offer. But we have found some tremendous trails just in some of the mundane places that we've gone. As I mentioned earlier, Flagstaff was a great place for us. We loved going to hike there. There was a huge, beautiful park that we loved to just go hike around the park on the eastern side of Flagstaff. And so in there was another spot that just kind of hiked up a mountain a little bit on the northwest part of town, and it was an 8-mile loop that you could, or an 8-mile there and back, 8 miles there and 8 miles back, and we never tackled the entire thing, but we went halfway, and then the next time we went halfway from the other side and tackled 16 miles of trail, and it was gorgeous. We enjoyed it. But there are trails all around, and it's just a matter of searching them out and finding them. We even Amy's parents live in the Big Thicket, the national forest, the piney woods in eastern Texas, and we had visited out there hundreds of times. I don't know how many, a lot of times, and had never gone hiking in the national forest there. And so last time we were there, we went and we just took a day and found one of the trails in the national forest there and went and hiked around. It was gorgeous. It was so beautiful, and we really enjoyed it. And it was only 10 minutes from her dad's house, which is really saying something because it takes 10 minutes to get anywhere from his driveway. So he lives out in the middle of nowhere. But shocked to find some of the beautiful places around. And I know that you will be too. I'm really encouraging you to go and check it out. So what are some of the favorites that our family has done? When I think about all the places that we've gone, it's hard to beat the Grand Canyon. We went, the first time we went to the Grand Canyon, there was a trail that we went to on the Grand Canyon that was just breathtaking. Our story about experiencing it was a little less breathtaking, but it's the Angel Trail is what it's called. And I know I'm not getting that quite right, but Angel Trail. And it is a beautiful hike down into the canyon, and you can go all the way down from Angel Trail. We went down a mile and then came back a mile, and we would have gone farther if not for the bathroom break that we needed to take. So just between you and me, don't tell anybody this, but we started to hike down into Angel Trail, and we had gone down about 20 minutes. We were about 20 minutes on our way down when one of the boys came up to me and said, "Dad, I need to go poop." And immediately I looked around. I was like, "Son, we're on the side of a canyon right now, on a trail on the side of a canyon right now. You need to poop?" I said, "You're going to have to hold it because we got to go all the way back up to the top, and it's going to take us 45 minutes, 20 minutes down, 40 minutes up." And he said, "Dad, I can't hold it. I have to go right now." Of course you do. Of course you have to go right now. So you guys, listen, don't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody this, but we went to a switchback, and on the switchback there's a little bitty trail that kept marching forward off the path, and I took my son, and he and I hiked out on this little path and went around a big rock, and he took care of his business right there. And then we found some leaves and cleaned everything up, and then came back. And you guys, as soon as we got back, one of the other boys had to go. So we ended up, me and the other boy hiked out, and we still to this day can't remember if it was 2 or 3 boys that ended up going right there. But needless to say, we didn't continue the hike at that point. We just went back up to the top and then got some ice cream to celebrate. So it was a beautiful hike, an adventuresome hike, but we really enjoyed it. Um, and the Grand Canyon is just stunning. If you've never been, you have to go and see it. You can't fathom how beautiful it is until you're standing at the edge. Um, so that was one of our favorites. And then uh, we loved, there was a place, the Grand Tetons, um, that we went and did a hike. And the Grand Tetons are, in my opinion, the most beautiful mountain range in the country. And no, don't throw anything at me. Don't throw anything. But the Grand Tetons are, in my opinion, the most beautiful mountain range in the country. They rise differently than any other that I've seen personally. And uh, to this day, my favorite picture of our family is standing in front of the Grand Tetons. Just this gorgeous shot of us standing there, and just really enjoyed that. And the hike that we went on there was across was hiking up basically the Snake River toward the mountains, and it was near an area called Mormon Row, and where there had been a Mormon settlement. And so we went to the Mormon settlement, and on our way there, we had lunch at this little spot, and we hiked for just a brief hike, but it was so stunningly beautiful. And then um, I don't know, just something a little different was just the hike around downtown Flagstaff. We really enjoyed. Um, and it was just a beautiful city and a lot of history there that we were able to kind of enjoy and see with some friends of ours one time, and just enjoyed hiking around that city and seeing what it had to offer, reading about it. They even have a little app that you can download that walks you along Flagstaff on the route there and tells you about little historic places to stop there. So, oh, the burgers there. Yes, the burgers were pretty amazing too. That was pretty spectacular. Um, and and I might as well throw in my favorite not hike that we ever did was yes, I said that. My favorite not hike. We were in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we took a gondola up to the top of some mountains there, and we were about to go on a hike down the mountains. It was a 6 mile down trail on the mountains, and we had asked before we went up. We bought a ticket just to go up. Didn't buy tickets to come down, just to go up. And we took the hike. We took the gondola up, and then we were just going to hike our way down. And we got to the top, and we had asked at the bottom if this was appropriate for kids. And of course, the guide down at the bottom was like, "Yeah, it should be no problem." Um, is it well marked? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll be able to find it. It just comes down right here on the map. Okay, thanks. So we get to the top of the gondola. It takes us 45 minutes to find the trailhead. We asked several other people wandering around where it was, and nobody seemed to know. Um, and it was a terrible it was a terrible event. We eventually found the trailhead and started our hike down, started the descent. We went down a couple hundred yards, and I stopped the group. Everybody stop. Boys, lean against the wall right here. Amy, we need to go talk. And I came and I pulled Amy aside to go chat. And, and as we chatted, um, I mentioned the fact that the path was not even as wide as my shoulders in certain places. And we had 3 boys, and one of them especially is not always paying attention where he's stepping. And so we're on this path that's about the width of my shoulders. Like if you're trying to pass somebody, you would have to stop and lean against the mountain while they went past you. There's no like just walking past each other. It was so narrow that I just knew I could see my son falling, and it was a sheer drop at that point of like 60 feet that I could see, and then it fell off. And so we canceled that hike, went back up to the top, and took a little bit of a different hike, and then took the gondola down. And the gondola ride down was also an adventure when we had to stop for 30 or 45 minutes because of high winds, hanging off a mountainside. It was actually epic, and it's a great memory for me. I really enjoyed it, but at the moment, we might have had a different take. So, hey, where is your favorite hike? I'm very curious to hear what your favorite hike is that you've ever taken. And again, I just want to encourage you to download that All Trails app, and I want to see a hike that you find around you that you love and that you're excited to go take. So please tell me in the comments below the video. I'll keep coming back and checking it out. But hey, thanks for joining me today. I've really enjoyed seeing you on here. And I pray that you will take this as an advantage, an opportunity for you to go out and to enjoy a beautiful hike with your kids. Take some time to get out with the family, or just take some time to get out by yourself and enjoy nature and see some of the beauty of what it's got to offer, and move that body around and enjoy getting a little bit of exercise in a way that doesn't seem like exercise. It seems like adventure, which just it. It's not just make it better. It just makes it better. So have a great day. Uh, oh, Sandia Mountains in Albuquerque. Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Sandia Mountains in Albuquerque. Hiking adventures. So you have a great day, and I will see you next time.